The One Academy is the heart of our company. Cryptocurrency is not an easy product. It's a very innovative product based on technology and based on very, very complex concepts. For us to be part of this financial revolution, to be part of cryptocurrency and of a community, we need to understand exactly what we do and what we talk about. And this is why we have the One Academy. The One Academy provides you with concepts, provides you with explanation on cryptocurrency and on the financial world. I would encourage everybody to join the courses, to do the certificates, and to understand thoroughly how to use cryptocurrency, what cryptocurrency is, and how we can change the world by using cryptocurrency. One Academy. Learn today, lead tomorrow.
Blessed good morning and good day to everyone from the Caribbean and around the rest of the world. Thank you for being on the call. My name is Maureen Brown and I'm from Barbados. I'm your host today. As Dr. Ruja just told us, we're learning today so we can lead tomorrow. That's why we're here. What is One Academy? One Academy is an innovative e-learning platform covering a broad range of financial topics, including trading, the stock exchange, cryptocurrency, financial analysis, asset management, and more. Our mission is to provide our students with the guidance and educational materials they need to achieve financial literacy. One Academy was developed by finance experts and academics. It is highly structured and easy to understand. You learn at your own pace and can be part of the future of global finance. We will be continuing with level 1, and our intention is to give you a unique sense of understanding of straightforward effects that you can use immediately to enhance your daily lives as well as promote our core product, One Academy. Remember, it's an interactive session, so please put your questions and comments in the chat box. Also, we will allow 1 or 2 contributions at the end of the discussion unless otherwise stated. I encourage you to take copious notes to assist you in your quest to becoming certified, knowledgeable, and wise investors. Mr. Pereira, the call is over to you.
Yes, good morning, Maureen. How are you going this morning, Maureen?
I'm well.
Good. It's good to hear that. Of course, good morning to all our One Academites in the region and further afield and wherever you find yourself in this beautiful world of ours. All right. Once again, it's Tuesday. Would you believe that the 22nd of May? Wow. Time is just moving right along. And I just want to really maybe share some of my my thoughts this morning before we start this call. I want you to type into your chat box and tell me, are you grateful? Are you thankful? And are you appreciative for the many blessings that you enjoy? If you are, in fact, type yes in the chat box. So I know that you actually heard the question. Tell me a little bit about that. How do you feel about that? Are you grateful this morning? Are you thankful? Are you appreciative this morning? Tell me how you feel this morning. How you feel on this Tuesday morning? Absolutely. Dwayne, Jamila, Ruan Lu. All right. Actually, good morning to you. Yes. Absolutely. It's good to be alive, but most importantly, it's good to be alive and good to be on this call. I see on this call we have Diamond, Mr. King James, and of course, Mr. Ivan Mark and Michelle. Good morning to you. Welcome again to our One Academy discussion. Maureen, do you have anything on your mind that you want to share with our listening audience? I want to put you on the spot this morning.
Yes, good morning again to everyone. Those who might not have been on the call when we first started. I am glad that we are all here. We are truly a community. I like to say one coin, one people, one community, together for more. I just like all the things that we say, and I really believe in it. I'm shocked at myself. I'm happy to be a part of the One Academy family, the One Life Network. And I just want to encourage everyone, let's all make a decision somehow, somewhere, to have the discussion every day with someone. Tell them about what they're missing out on. This quiet financial revolution that's going on. That's all I want to say.
Them the thing is, boy.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, and just before we start this morning, seeing some of the other comments in the chat box. Noel, good morning to you. Yes, you're feeling coinistic. Absolutely, my brother. Narish, yes, it's a great blessing. Rajesh said, eternally grateful indeed. Ivan Mark, very, very grateful. Without a doubt, we have to be very grateful. And of course, Mary Beal, yes, very appreciative for all my blessings. And of course, I just saw Diamond Patrice James on the call. Good morning to you, Patrice. So good to have you on this morning's call. And we're going to continue right along this morning as it relates to gold. We are actually talking about this asset class called gold. I'm sure we just need to maybe get the share screen going. So hold 1 second while I get that done. Yes, I am trusting. Maureen, are you seeing my screen?
Yes, I am. Introduction to gold? Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So we talked a lot about many of the asset classes for the last week. We talk about the categories, the commodities. In commodities, we have 3 categories. We dealt with the agricultural, we dealt with industrial, hard metals, and so on. So we're just going to just run through very quickly about gold. But I really want to really touch on something that most people don't think about when we think about gold. Apart from the value of gold, why do we need gold? And the fact that gold has outperformed the Dow Jones Industrial Average by 8 years. In 8 years, gold, physical gold, has outperformed the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Very interesting. And of course, when you look at all the major currencies of the world, for the last 15 years, gold has outperformed all the major currencies by approximately 10%. Of course, I'll probably show you that slide shortly. I just wanted to let you know that. But it's very important to understand the geopolitical effects of what gold really is doing now. Of course, there's a lot happening now with gold and by extension, another commodity class, which is very popular because every economy thrives on it, and it's called oil. And we need to understand this morning the importance of where oil is in all our societies. Unfortunately, we are still an energy-driven society, and oil is the mainstay. Of course, we have other new technologies coming forward like wind and solar and all of these technologies that help to add value as it relates to, you know, the power consumption needs of the world. But unfortunately to say, oil still will remain for a large extent and for a very long time is going to remain one of the major commodity classes that are going to be heavily traded. Now, there is an interdependence of oil as it relates to what's happening with the United States dollar. And I really wanted to share this video with you because it really actually says it actually says everything. I want you to take this video in first of all, so that it lays the foundation of where our One Academy discussion is going to be this morning. It's just about 4 or 5 minutes long, but it's very impactful. Actually, this video was actually shared by Jamal on the I Am One Life Facebook site. And when I saw it, I was very intrigued because I actually knew about it, but it is so refreshing to see it once again. So I'm going to share this with you now. I'm going to turn my mic up, the volume, hoping that you'll be able to hear everything that this video has. Take it in now shortly.
Was actually a device invented by Kissinger and Nixon.
The standard of living of all Americans can be traced back to here, the vast oil-rich deserts of Saudi Arabia.
In the early 70s, after the Arab crisis happened with the oil embargoes, OPEC basically tripled the price of oil to the Western world. And at that time, America realized that they were vulnerable because they were importing about 70% of all the oil they consumed.
To secure a reliable foreign source of oil, U.S. President Richard Nixon sent his Secretary of State and National Security Advisor, Henry Kissinger, to Saudi Arabia for a secret meeting. The result was a pact that still stands to this day.
If Saudi Arabia, which at the time was the world's largest producer of oil, would sell the oil in US dollars, America would defend Saudi Arabia and make sure the House Assad would stay in power.
As a direct result of this US-Saudi agreement, all other oil-producing nations also adopted the dollar as the de facto medium of exchange. Demand for it increased exponentially all over the world, and soon it had a new name, the petrodollar.
Your currency is only as strong as the demand for it, just like anything else, the supply and demand. Why the petrodollar is important, it causes a demand for the US dollar. A lot of Americans don't realize that over 70% of all the $100 bills in the world are actually outside of the US. There's more $100 bills in Russia than there are in America.
This stockpile of US dollars in countries around the world is because oil is bought and sold using the greenback.
If oil starts trading in non-petrodollars, such as gold or a basket of currencies, or if China and Russia start trading in yuan and ruble rather than US dollars, that demand isn't there. And the way of life for the average American will be done. It will be worse than the Great Depression.
To date, anyone who's potentially threatened the status of the petrodollar hasn't fared well. Libyan strongman Muammar Gaddafi publicly pushed for a Pan-African gold-backed currency that he would trade for Libya's oil. He was killed during a US-backed revolution in 2011. And just a few short years before, Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein advocated selling oil for euros.
At this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq.
The US invaded under the guise of looking for WMDs.
Iraq did not have any weapons of mass destruction. And interestingly enough, after the Americans invaded, took over, put in their own government, the whole concept of selling oil in euros never surfaced again.
Today, many countries resent the current petrodollar system, and their leading spokesperson is none other than Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Americans should be very worried about what Putin can do. There is a new Cold War going on. It is the Colder War. That is exactly what's going on. And who's in the center of this push? Vladimir Putin. And the petrodollar is so crucial to the Colder War. The only thing holding America right now at the top is the petrodollar. And let me make it very clear. If the petrodollar dies, so does America as a superpower.
Indeed, food for thought. Food for thought. This is a very thought-provoking video. It is really the reality of what is taking place in the world. So if this morning you're actually seeing this video for the first time, you can still go back on the Facebook, I Am One Life, and definitely take a look at that video again. That book is a very powerful read. It's The Colder War. It's written by this gentleman, one of the top investment analysts in the world, and he really gives you what is going to take place in the next couple of years. So we really need to pay attention of what is going to take place in the world in terms of geopolitical events. We need to be cognizant of where the financial system is going and evolving at the same time that all of this geopolitical event, or events rather, are taking place. So we live in a world of excitement, but at the same time, a lot of transitions are taking place. And we really need to understand that one of the reasons why the US dollar is still the #1 traded currency in the world is because of usability. It is because that oil, which is the energy currency of the world, is traded only in United States dollars. And because of that, all other countries had adopted that model since Henry Kissinger and the House of Saud in the early 70s, when OPEC had a major oil embargo, if you can go back and read it, and that actually tripled the oil price to the US, which was heavily consuming majority of Saudi Arabia's oil at that point in time. Hence the reason why the US dollar is traded as far as oil is concerned. If that thin line gets severed, it would spell major catastrophe for the United States dollar. 70% of all $100 bills, US dollars, are actually outside of the United States. And we really need to understand this. Now, what is really significant, and you might be saying, but what does oil have to do with this introduction to gold? Let me entertain you a little more. It says specifically now, and if you're following the geopolitical events in Southeast Asia, you'd realize that China, over the last 60 days, has created their own gold-backed ETFs. They're actually using gold-backed ETFs backed by solid gold to purchase oil from Russia. Now that changes the geopolitical landscape, already putting tremendous pressure on world events that's going on with the United States and Russia. So this is actually creating a storm. And that's when I say that a storm is coming, that is where the storm has started. And it's going to continue for a very long time. And I would advise you to really get that book, The Colder War. You could go on colderwar.com, actually, and order it via Amazon. It is an excellent read. I should be getting my copy this week. You need to be ahead of geopolitical events. So countries that really control oil production are, in fact, going to have the trump card, pardon the pun, the trump card moving forward in the next 5 to 10 years, because the world's population is going to grow from 7.3 billion to over 9.8 billion in the next 15, 20 years. And of course, technology and energy is going to play a significant role moving forward. We cannot underestimate the importance of gold, and we will not see the bigger picture if we don't include gold. And the reason why One Academy has gold is there's a particular reason why it's there. And it's there not because it's good reading, it's not because it's shiny, it's not because we need to stick our heads in the sand and forget the importance of gold. Is gold plays a structural role in the economies of the world today. And that's why governments downplay it. So much so that governments actually, in fact, store gold. In the interest of time, I wouldn't go on to that, but you can go on to the worldgoldcouncil.org, download the latest gold holding report, and you will see all the major listings, the top 100 in the world. Incidentally, Haiti and Trinidad and Tobago has gold stored in their central banks. Very surprising for most people, but it is what it is. Very quickly, let's kind of touch the classifications that we have as it relates to the grade, the standard of gold when we're dealing with physical gold. So the amount of gold in an object is called carat. A carat that starts with K, not the one that starts with C. All right, we start from 9 carats and it works its way all the way up to 24 carat. 24 carat gold is the type of gold that governments settle international debt with. But it has to be 24 carat London Bullion Market grade gold 999.9 it must be almost as pure as you can get it. So the higher the carat, the greater the percentage of the gold itself, and of course the value. So I'm not going to go every single carat and explain it, but as you can see it here on the screen, you can see it starts at 9 carat, 10 carat, and of course works its way up to 24. Most places that sell jewelry has 14, 18. Most jewelry do not have pure gold. You can't have absolutely pure gold in your jewelry because gold is very malleable, it's very soft. So it has to be, mixed with an alloy, right? So what you're wearing is a combination of that, all right? That's why when you take jewelry, it has to be suede in order for the goldsmith has to basically check the authenticity of it, right? So there's a lot of things associated with that. One of the unique features and characteristics of gold is that it is not vulnerable to corrosion, which makes it extremely durable to natural elements. It's one of the other reasons why it's used industrially as well as in jewelry. It melts at a very low heat, which gives people the possibility to work with it at a very early stages of civilization. Of course, over 6,000 years of recorded history and beyond, gold has played an active role as it relates to the usability in various cultures, not because they had recognized it had value at that time, but because of its malleability, which eventually led to the inclusion of the use of this metal. And of course, if you're into semiconductors and very high-tech electronics, you'd realize that gold is the ultimate conductor of electricity as well. It is rare enough, which also is a very important consideration when you're dealing with inflation, so that the smaller amounts of gold could be exchanged for greater amounts of other commodities. It also behaves just like regular paper currency. It is divisible without losing its value in the process. And it is easily transferred and transportable, and it has intrinsic beauty. What is even more interesting now is that because of technology and cryptocurrency, you can actually use gold digitally now without actually carrying it around. So the whole evolution of money, we are now in the fourth industrial revolution, and it's changing our perception as it relates to what money really is. As I said yesterday, money is anything that increases in value over time. Currency does not increase in value, because we did the litmus test yesterday, and it proved conclusively that not even $1 today, as opposed to 45 years ago, could have bought 5 loaves of bread. 1 gram today can't eat, 1 gram of gold today would buy you 35 loaves. And $1, well, I don't think there's any place on the planet that $1 can buy a loaf, not a piece of bread, a loaf of bread. So it really says a lot about the difference between currency and money. All right. Of course, there are a lot of other uses that gold, in terms of its uses in industrial, which plays its part in terms of usability. So there's so many various applications, and so much so that the United States still is, in terms of the amount of tonnage that it has the highest percentage. And the reason why the US has the highest percentage is not that the US was very astute over the last 40 or 50 years. It's because it acquired majority of the gold holdings after the Second World War, since the United States didn't enter the Second World War until the last 6 months, when it actually joined forces with Britain, its ally, to take down Hitler. All right, that's a whole different discussion by itself. Germany next in line, and yes, believe it or not, the International Monetary Fund comes third on the listing as it relates to the acquisition and storage of physical gold. This is not paper we're talking about. We're not talking about ETFs. We're talking about physical tonnage of gold. If you go onto the World Gold Council and download this report, you'll see it for yourself. Next, we have Italy, France, and China. Of course, those figures you're seeing here is tons. 2204 pounds is equivalent to 1 ton. So you realize that they have some serious tonnage. Now, if gold is not as important as governments and a lot of institutions are really trying to downgrade the importance of gold because it's heavily manipulated on the market. So the price you're seeing right now is really not the real price. Gold is really worth more than $5,000 in actual value right now. But in terms of where it is right now, just hovering under 1,300 US an ounce. Of course, gold dropped last week. And of course, gold plays this love-hate relationship. Anytime the price of gold goes up, the United States dollar goes down. It's sort of like an interdependency relationship that goes on with gold and the US dollar. Of course, the Federal Reserve, the FOMC committee, is the branch of the Federal Reserve that deals with the monetary policy of all of those things. So when you really look at this listing of the gold holdings per country, you begin to realize that gold is the ultimate store of real value. The Gold Council will say that to you. I didn't make this up. I'm not giving you my opinion. It is the way it is. So that's why it also is important for us to begin now as we're planning our portfolio, because we're in the One Life community, because now we have the use of compound interest by the use of the OneCoin cryptocurrency. We now can begin to chart a course where we can developed now a structured portfolio by the acquisitions of the largest cryptocurrency in the market, which is the OneCoin cryptocurrency, and begin the process of putting things in place to understand. And the reason why you need to put things in place now, when capital appreciation works in your favor, you don't want to be in a scenario where you're like someone who won the lotto and you have no clue of what to do. You need to have a structured path moving forward as it relates to what you need to do as far as your household is concerned. Having cryptocurrency is one thing, being in the right place at the right time is another thing. But if you don't have a clue as it relates to where you're moving with your whole investment portfolio, having the cryptocurrency and having the capital appreciation behind it will serve you no greater good, because you are thinking as an employee and you're not thinking as an entrepreneur. And then when you acquire this acquisition of wealth, you are going to be broke in a matter of years. And hence the reason why we have to pay attention, One Academites, to the lessons that are in the One Academy modules from levels 1 all the way up to level 5. If you have not fully engaged those lessons, I strongly advise you to get going. You do not have much time. The world is changing so quickly that you are going to be left behind very, very quickly and silently. And that's the danger of technology in this fourth industrial revolution, that you think nothing is happening because you're not hearing about it, but that doesn't mean that that is the case. You need to pay more attention, engage it for what it is, and let the benefits of the One Academy, levels 1 and 2, in my opinion, levels 1 and 2 should be an ultimate default read for everyone in every Caribbean nation and further afield. That is how important it is. And that's why you need to go out there and educate people. We need to go out there and to share the opportunity and let people know that, listen, we're not selling cryptocurrency. We are selling the importance of education. Education that can transform your life, your thinking, your understanding of the financial world, the new things that are taking place, and how you can position yourself moving forward in this new financial revolution. That is the importance of the One Academy training. And of course, we're having this new format, this discussion, to really give you the bigger picture that generally you would probably not have gotten from just a straight read. So having the additional information to give you that perspective, to help you to understand how do you manage money, from understanding cryptocurrency, from making simple everyday choices differently, so that you now can be able now to have more cash at your disposal, so that you can do more, you can invest more, and allow that excessive amount of cash that you've been wasting over the years to let it work for you. I always say it this way: it's not how much money you make in the long run, it's how much you keep. Of course, time is always against us, moving about 28 minutes after the hour already. But Theodore Johnson was mentioned yesterday in the video that I shared with Anthony Robbins. And it's very classic with Theodore Johnson back into the 50s. Theodore Johnson worked for UPS on an annual salary of $14,000 a year. You might say, well, $14,000 a year in 1950 was in fact a lot. Someone has their mic unmuted. Can you just mute your mic, please? Thank you. And in 1950, someone told him the importance of saving 20% of his income, his take home. And he did take 20% after really understanding why. And he started to invest in stocks and that kind of thing for the next 20 years of his life. When Theodore Johnson died, his net worth was $70 million. And just before he died, he gave away $35 million. He only worked for $14,000 a year. Are you beginning to understand the point I'm making, One Academites? It's not about how much money you work for, how much money you're earning on a monthly basis if you're still on the plantation. It's how much you keep. Because guess what? The more you work for is the more you spend. So you ask everyone across the board, they'll always tell you they never have enough because we have not been structured in our thinking as how to do it. So he actually used the secret of that 20%, forgot about it for the next 20 years, and used compound interest, which we will be going in more detail as the next couple of days progress, and as I'll show you the benefits of compound interest and also show you why you need to acquire a package in the One Life network because of the hidden secret of compound interest that's locked away in the One Life community. And that's also a very important point that you need to know. So when you go out there, we're not trying to sell people anything. I hope you're not trying to sell someone a package. You're trying to show them the importance of education because the education is going to serve them far greater into the future than anything else. And that will also help them position themselves to gain as much coins. As our Diamond King James would always say, we really don't have enough coins. And of course, moving into the last quarter of this year, you realize that the time is ticking away. It's already 6:31 where I am, of course, 5:31 if you are in Jamaica. Welcome for all those One Academites who have gotten up very early to listen to this One Academy call. Good morning to you. Before I wrap up, I obviously want to get some quick comments from you, Maureen. I know there was a lot that actually was shared this morning, and I want to invite you to really make your input as we close off this morning's call.
Well, there were a couple of things in level one that stood with me, and it was the importance of diversification, the importance of having an investment plan, and then the knowledge of knowing the different things you can invest in, the commodities, the equities, and obviously the new alternative investment instruments like cryptocurrency. So that stood with me for sure. So as you said earlier, and as I always say, just knowing level 1 and 2, you have so much information to educate others when you are talking to them about cryptocurrency. And I find it's really important, especially in this really tough economic time. It's important that people are educated. It's not just about getting them to buy a package. It's important that they understand the context of why you're saying this to them, that you're trying to help them protect their money, you're trying their wealth, sorry. You're trying to help them reduce the cost of having to interact with money with other people and transfer the value, and you're trying to get them to also recognize that they can offer some, they have the deal shaker, which is, I think it's just so valuable, where you can actually go and trade your skills, your knowledge, your products, your services on the deal shaker, and that can bring in, that's another way of earning the cryptocurrency and having more. So those are some of the things that I would want to share with the others.
I have to say, just brilliant, because that deal shaker, MTS, I know you're on the call. Good morning to you. So definitely we have to have a segment alone for One Academy for you to really, go into a little more detail about that. The importance of where you see this deal shaker going. And that's why we really want for everyone to participate in the Deal Shaker Expo moving forward. Be sure and be there. Of course, we're going to be talking a little bit more about that. I want to get as much persons on the call this morning. We have a lot of diamonds on the call, so we are truly wealthy this morning to have a wealth of information of all these diamonds that are on this call. Of course, Ivan Mark, good morning to you, sir. I want you to unmute your mic and shining this morning, sir. So good to have you on the call.
Yes, it's so great to be here. Good morning, you all. Good morning, everyone.
Yes,
around the Caribbean and the wider world, of course. And very good, Maureen. You made some valid points, right, with the One Academy level 1. I mean, of course, it is the foundation, the base from where we start to really earn and really start now to increase our wealth. Some key factors, that a lot of times people figure, even in my own career, you figure that the earnings are everything, especially if it's coming from one source. And you have to realize that life isn't like that. Life has its ups and downs, life has its ins and outs. And sometimes you are going one direction, right? And life now causes you to take a detour. And sometimes that detour is so out of what you had planned, that it really affects you. Being diversified is one of the main keys to keep you going in a particular direction. When I mean keep you going in a particular direction, what I mean is that if you want to achieve something, right, being diversified allows you to be a little more flexible and lenient in case anything happens. You know, there are 5 levels of course, financial aspects. There are 5 levels. You have your financial security, which is the base. If anyone knows Maslow's hierarchy or Maslow's pyramid, it sort of mirrors something like that, right? So you have your financial security, then you have your financial vitality, you have your financial independence, you have your financial freedom, and then you have absolute financial freedom. And most of the times, people want to reach absolute, they want to reach the last 2 on the hierarchy, the financial freedom and then the absolute financial freedom, without first taking care of the financial security with your basic needs, right? And what happens is that in doing that, people tend to want to take a shortcut. And I'm here to tell you this morning, there are no shortcuts. You have to learn what to do. You have to do it regularly. You have to do it within a system. And there are certain principles that you just cannot, I repeat this, Larry and Maureen, you cannot circumvent, right? Because it will appear that it will be working, but then when a major circumstance comes around, you would see that your house is built on sand. And what we are trying to do here with the One Academy is really now make sure that your house, your financial house, is built upon a rock. That regardless of what takes place, and you know, you started very well today, Larry, to show the international geopolitical issues that are occurring, because many times we, no matter where we are locally, if we are home, we don't know what is going on outside. And many times what is going on outside is going to affect your home at some point in time. And you started so well to let people understand that, listen, this is what is going on outside here. And there's a storm that is definitely coming. And we have to put shutters on our windows. We have to strap our roofs in order to weather the storm, because it's going to be so bad. Right? I mean, we definitely don't have enough coins. We definitely need to stock up on some gold, right, to weather the storm that is coming. And people, I cannot express that enough. It is definitely here. And we have to do all that is in our might to protect our family, ourselves, right? And if we could tell a neighbor or two, let's do that. Okay, so yes, again, Larry, very good. And of course, I always look forward to these sessions because of what it does to the individual and what it does to their families, utilizing this education that we have been given. Right, so top of the morning to everyone, and I do hope that you have a great day. Thank you so much, Larry.
Thank you so much, Ivan, for your stunning contribution, and of course, the nuts and bolts of really what really needs to be done. At the final analysis, as I would take a page out of what you just said, you know, a storm is coming, and we have to, you know, be guided accordingly, and to use this knowledge in a meaningful way. And of course, as King James always says, that we really don't have enough coins. So now is the time for us to really, you know, accelerate that drive to acquire as much coins as possible. Maureen, this is where I actually say thank you so much for the opportunity to actually co-host with you this morning. It's back over to you. Have yourself a super fabulous day, One Academites.
Thank you, Larry. I was going through the list. I see a Steve Watson. Would you mind sharing, Steve? I have your mic unmuted. Would you like to shine in and tell us how you feel about the One Life Network so far and what you're hearing on the calls? Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. We're hearing you loud and clear.
Hi, guys.
This was so informative to me. I'm not always on the call, but I joined in this morning and I got a ton load of information there that just have me thinking, that I'm in the one coin, one life thing, but not really as active as I should be. And I need to step up the game here and really get things going and assist as much people as I possibly can. Because this is serious, serious information that I just got there. And I urge everyone to really not just hear and do nothing, but hear the word and live it. Okay? Thanks very much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Steve. It was a pleasure hearing from you. I'm looking for... Okay, I see a Terence Green, but he does not have his audio available to me to unmute him. Terence, do you want to, could you shining this morning? Are you available to do that? I can't seem to unmute you because you don't have a mic available to me. All right, I'm not seeing any response from Terence Green. So I'm going to move along to Alvarez. Eric Alvarez, sorry. Can you unmute your mic, Alvarez, and shine in if you're there? Eric? Okay, I'm not hearing from Eric. Let me check what the chats are saying. Okay. Yes, Rujan is saying that the One Academy is top. Great. Okay, who else should I get on the line? There's a Keith Young. I'm going to unmute your mic. Go ahead, Keith Young. Your mic is unmuted. Would you like to join in this morning, please? Okay. All right, I'm not hearing from Mr. Young, so I'm going to ask Imtiaz Mohammed. I'm going to unmute your mic. It's unmuted now. Go ahead, speak.
Hi, morning. You hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
All right, good morning, One Academites. Miss Maureen, Larry Pereira, everyone on the call. That video that Mr. Larry showed there, I think it really sets in my mind. It really sank in this morning. And yesterday, he spoke about compounded interest. What I decided in my mind, and I want to throw it out to all the One Academites, is that not only interest, but we must also compound the knowledge. Because compounding the knowledge, it has now put me in a greater perspective with respect to finance, because I want to utilize three words, which is commodities, liabilities, and assets. And this compounded knowledge now will set the pace for my generation and my family, because it really sinks in when you understand what currency or the US dollar is really backed up by. So I want to just be short, be precise. What we have in our hands here is really history for us to need and put into perspective and bring it into fruition. Dr. Ruja has put everything in place, ladies and gentlemen. She has this structure. She has a beautiful plan. She has the ecosystem, the deal shaker. We have every power possible, all the tools possible in our hands. All we need to do, reach out there, compound the knowledge, and apply the knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was interesting. Compound the knowledge. I like that. I do. And I'm going to ask Dave Brito. Dave, could you unmute your mic and shining, Dave Brito?
Pleasant good morning to each and everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, I am so privileged and honored this morning to be on this call again. I look forward to it every morning. I just want to say to Mr. Larry, you are doing a great job, man. I mean to say, you can't get better than this. The way you simplify everything, and I am reading my package, and when you speak, man, it just brings everything even more to light. I want to say a shout out to my brother, King James, for really being a support system to me. He has been there for me. I mean to say, I sit down and I just keep thinking about him and his family, and I really want to say I appreciate you guys. Maureen, I don't know what to say. You will be a force to be reckoned with. You have the voice, you have the personality, and we have great people in this family, and I am so happy to be a part of this family. And I am pushing this education towards my wife, towards my children, and I am looking towards great things to come. I was just speaking yesterday with one of my clients concerning the OneCoin and the One Life and the educational backings that we are getting. It's not just about acquiring a coin or acquiring digital gold, but it's acquiring the knowledge and able to use it wisely and to accumulate it properly and to trade it in the manner that it needs to be traded, by using it for goods and services and whatnot. And we were really speaking out, and he was so captivated by the way the structure is, because everyone heard about Bitcoin and how it is not trading platform and the fluctuation of it. But the structure of the OneCoin is so diverse that, you catch people when you really speak to them. But the first thing of all, you have to be totally sold into it. And I'm telling you, I have not acquired as much coins as I would like to, but I am pushing this because this is great. This is great. It's not just about, a generational thing. It's about a generational education. And this is something that I really wanted, to have the knowledge in order to be able to use the assets that I'll be acquiring and to use it wisely. So I just want to thank you guys for a wonderful job. And again, my brother, King James, thanks, man, for being there, being a support, being an encouragement. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Dave. We really appreciate your contribution and all the contributions from those who have been putting things in the chat, as well as those of you who are here with us. We appreciate it. Now, the time is going quickly, and I want two people to speak. So there's supposed to be one. Patrice and her husband, King James. Both of you can speak. You're supposed to be one. So the time is running, but I'd love to hear from both of you. So I don't know if you both want to speak, or as one, or if King would just be the one to speak. Is Patrice still there? Yeah, she is. So Patrice, I'm going to unmute your mic. You can go first.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
All right, Maureen, how are you doing?
I'm well. I'm well.
Okay, great. I really enjoyed the call this morning, Larry. Great job as usual. A lot of education and information shared there. What stood out to me, and I'll share a little story with you all, because I shared last time on the call that I'm now homeschooling my 3 daughters, and I had a little incident where my second daughter, she was having these breakdowns at most times when she's tired at night, and she would start, saying negative things that she didn't get to play with her sisters much today and things like that. And, I just had, she was disrupting in terms of the flow of the evening, the normal flow of the evening. So I would just play songs for her, some soothing songs, and try to calm her down and pray with her and that kind of thing. And it's only when I decided to homeschool them, I took them to be assessed to see, what level each of them are on, and not just as the education system would do, just place them based on their age. I took each of them to see what level they are on. And while I was there, the lady at ICANN, they deal with neurodevelopment. And I was telling her what happens with Kiara. And she said to me, she was explaining to me, and I wouldn't go into all the education, I'll just make my point. She was explaining what happens to Kiara and the fact that she's left-handed and right-brained and what happens to her at night. And instead of playing soothing music for her, give her something challenging, because the soothing music never worked. She would just continue being cranky until she fall asleep. And I started doing, she said, give her something that gets her critical, thinking, and have to really use her brain. And that will be counting backwards from 100 or counting odd numbers, that kind of thing. And I did it the first night. I tried it. And the child face light up, and she was excited, and she forgot, the stress that she was feeling, and went on to just get ready for bed. And I messaged King. King was at a meeting that night, and I messaged him and I said, wow, look at how important education is. Look at how important it is to get the right information and to know the truth. And I just, of course, tie everything back to the One Academy and to One Life. And we are privileged to know the truth. I really didn't know. Sometimes I feel like, okay, yeah, I had this knowledge all along, but when you really sit down and think about it, I did not know what money was. But from a child, I always said, you know what, I need to understand money. I need to know money. And this is where we are at today. And I just want to encourage us to take the One Academy serious. Take the education that we are getting serious. Don't feel discouraged. I know some people avoid the calls, avoid talking on the calls because you might feel that you're not at the level. But read as much as you can. Take the time, even if you have 5 minutes a day, to read and to understand at least one point, and get on here just to hear the information so that you could become better and then share it with others. So that's my contribution this morning. Thank you all for the privilege of sharing, and God bless everyone.
Pleasant morning. Marian, sorry I jumped in so fast. I just know for the sake of time, and I really want to say too long.
Go ahead.
So definitely, I want to thank everyone for being on the call, Dave. I felt the love, brother Larry. Larry, I'm missing you in the gym, so we got to get these calls a little. Nah, that's my boy. That's my boy. Oh gosh, we gotta get back out there pumping, Larry, pumping, brother. We will fix that. I had a thought, however, though, as Patrice mentioned, that maybe we should run a series, and I'll help participate on that, with the Super TED. I think the Super TED would be very beneficial to even the adults, and show the fact of what it is we really have. We could probably run a series on that in 2 weeks on Super TED, on each one of the comic books, and spend a little 2 days on each one of the books, and really just pour out the level of what we are participating in. And sometimes we get this thing so mixed up and tied up and really misunderstand the information. I mean, when you are seeing this and participating with this and seeing this thing evolve into the natural financial revolution that it is. Yesterday, I saw a deal placed up there for land. A lot and a half by Mr. Terrence Graham. And the deal is really quite impressive. 50% payment in one coin. The next 50% you can pay down and pay off on a monthly basis. I said, what? Then I turned around, I saw another set of deals, car rentals, 100% car rentals in coins. In Trinidad and Tobago, I'm seeing these deals. Then I'm seeing in Suriname, 100% payment with a one village concept that they're looking to create. And I'm saying to myself, do we really understand what we are participating in? I have been negotiating all type of deals for 100% payment in coins. Why? Because the beliefs just start to rise with this concept, friends. So I would encourage you all to acquire the more knowledge, because the more knowledge you have, the faster and the quicker the way you want to capitalize on building your organization, building you, and then building your organization, you build your coins. Friends, let's just keep it honest. You get paid percentage in coins. So keep building this knowledge, keep compounding the knowledge according to Mr. Muhammad. Marine, Larry, Dave, Terrence, Ivan, everybody who's on the call, Patrice. I mean, really and truly, we have a family at times. Mr. Alvin Morton, I'm seeing a lot of names. Mr. Alfred, Kesby. I mean, what's happened here, friends? We have a true family. In family, at times, you'll have not everybody seeing eye to eye. We'll have little issues there. But what I want to encourage us all is keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing is this level of education, but also acquiring it so we can put it into practice. putting it into practice and applying our knowledge is what makes our knowledge so important. Our knowledge and our way to apply it is to help others, friends, is to assist, is to evangelize, if you want to call it that. So I thank you guys for your time, and look forward to continue building with you all. Let's take it all the way to the top. Blessings and more blessings to you all.
Thank you so much, King James and Patrice James. That was wonderful. We really want to continue to encourage everyone to share today and keep on doing what you're doing, educating those who don't know. And without any further ado, I see something in the chat. Okay. Larry, we are going to end all our calls with this.
The One Academy is the heart of our company. Cryptocurrency is not an easy product. It's a very innovative product based on technology and based on very, very complex concepts. For us to be part of this financial revolution, to be part of cryptocurrency and of a community, we need to understand exactly what we do and what we talk about. And this is why we have the One Academy. The One Academy provides you with concepts, provides you with explanation on cryptocurrency and on the financial world. I would encourage everybody to join the courses, to do the certificates, and to understand thoroughly how to use cryptocurrency, what cryptocurrency is, and how we can change the world by using cryptocurrency. One Academy. Learn today, lead tomorrow.
King James is saying to remind everyone there's a self meeting today, friends in Tobago meeting today as well. Thank you. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.